Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Sorry I didn't get my video out at the normal time, but as you can see, we're not home. Been gone since early this morning, doing some things, and one of those things, well, a lot of you have commented your prayers and suggestions with my whole back issues over the last couple of months, and I finally was able to get into my chiropractor and get some work started on that. So hopefully, I don't really feel any better right now, maybe even a little bit worse, but he said that the lower back muscles are so inflamed they're not even where they're supposed to be. So we're gonna keep the prayers up and keep hoping that things will improve there. My wife and I were talking this morning while we were driving. We were talking about, I pushed community on this channel big time. That having that tribe, and to me, the tribe is kind of that inner group, and then community is kind of the greater group. That's kind of how it is in our area with what we're doing. We have our community meetings, which are people from kind of all over this area. 200-300 sometimes a month meeting, and then we have little pockets of little tribes. And I think that's a good thing. The big community meeting, we call it a community of communities. The point that I'm getting at today is my wife and I were talking about how as necessary communities are, the problem is not with the community itself, it's with the people in the community. That we live in this world of modernity has completely lost, it seems like, in a lot of ways, lost the ability to actually get along, to communicate, to be human with each other. We've dealt with so much technology in the last generation or so that it's like people are rapidly forgetting how to be human. They don't understand how to be human. They don't know how to interact. This level of narcissism. And I think it's because of all the me generation, the selfies, the TikToks, the followers, the likes, all that kind of stuff. And it's really created an environment and a generation of narcissism, at least low-level narcissism. And as people come together in communities, that's going to be a big problem. It's probably going to be just as big a problem as the outside threat of dangerous people. Because if that community can't get along and they can't work together, then they're not only in jeopardy of not functioning, they're in jeopardy of becoming a weak target. People, especially predator type people, they're like a wild animal. They can sniff out and sense weakness. And so as society continues to crumble, there will be people that will be able to be pretty good at sensing the weaknesses of people. And so a weak community that's having issues is a target. And so we as individuals, we need to be aware of this. Some of you, maybe you're old enough, or maybe you've not bought full all into this modern society and technology and stuff, so maybe it's not affected you as much. But there's things like accountability. People just aren't accountable for their actions anymore. They're not accountable for what they say and do. They want to argue. They want to prove their point, regardless of what damage it does. I was speaking of technology, and this just popped. I wasn't planning on saying this, but this just popped up in my head. I was online the last couple of days, scrolling through, looking at news stuff, and there was an advertisement for a Bible. Okay, it's a Bible, right? And it doesn't even matter what version or what it was. It was in one of these old versions of the Bible. And they were selling it, right? Big deal. It's everyone should have a Bible. And I mean, I have my particular versions that I like, but I don't get hung up on the arguments of which Bible is better than others, because in the end, there's all kinds of things in each version that I don't agree with, or that you can see the translations of them, that there was some irregularities. Anyways, the point is that in this advertisement, it had people comments, the reviews and stuff of that particular Bible or that company selling it. And probably 90+%, it was people arguing with each other, which is the better Bible. And you know, the argument, someone would post, well, this is a better version. Well, no, I think this is a better version. And by the 10th or 15th comment down, where they're going back and forth, they're now arguing and slinging slurs and calling each other an idiot and all this kind of stuff about which is the better Bible to read. And I want to say, it doesn't sound like any of you are reading your Bible. You know, if you've missed the whole point of the Bible and its teachings by sitting there and arguing which is the better one, to the point that you're slinging slurs and derogatory statements and putting each other down. That's what I'm getting at. That we live in this world that so many people they find that proving their point or trying to be correct is more important than the greater point sometimes of the argument. And in a small community, in a tribe, that kind of mentality is going to be really dangerous. It's going to cause problems. The gossiping, the backbiting, the backstabbing, the narcissism, the lack of accountability, and this deep desire to always be right, this deep desire to be, special or to be paid attention to. We have so many people that's grown up in this trophy generation that they have to believe that they're special all the time and that they deserve some kind of special treatment. As the world turns out of control, that kind of mentality is not going to work. It's not going to bring success to your group. So as you're forming, or you already have your communities, your tribe, your mag, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. You should be well aware of this. And I believe having open communication with your people, that hey, we need to understand that these are possibilities, and we don't want this to happen in our community. We don't want this to happen in our groups and stuff. And so we need to be adult, mature, have some open communication. There's been a couple of little issues with our group, but I mean, we've been in existence now for over 2 years. And like I said, 200 to 300 people a month are involved in the big group. And there's, if you had them all come at once, it'd be over 500 people, in this region that have some connection with what we're doing. And so when you look at it on that scale and you say, well, there's only been maybe a couple of minor incidences where people kind of didn't get along or didn't like each other or, whatever. That's not bad. We have to realize that this is an issue. This isn't 200 years ago where people existed. They lived their whole life because it was the only way to live in a small communal society. That's just how it was. Everyone knew how to communicate. They knew how to accept each other. They knew how that when someone ticked them off, you didn't start a big fight and split the group up like churches do today all the time. Because if that happened, then everyone became vulnerable to threat. You had to sometimes swallow your pride. You had to deal with differences you didn't like for the greater good of the community. I understand that there are certain lines that you won't cross. There's certain things you won't compromise on. I'm the same way. That's okay. I'm talking about because, your buddy bought a particular gun and claims it's the best ever, and for a fact it's not. Well, let it go. Is it really that important for you to prove your point to him, for you to possibly break up your friendship and even damage your community just so that you could prove that you were right and he was wrong? That's what goes on in today's world, and that can't happen in a community. That can't happen in small groups. And so as you're preparing and your community is growing and you're trying to get it set up and you're trying to figure out how you're going to work and what you're going to do and how you're going to benefit each other, you also need to work on just being civil with each other, being human, being understanding, being accountable, being respectful. These are traits that they still exist, but they're much less common, I think, than they used to B, because so many people have been polluted by this modern world and the technology and stuff, and even middle-aged and older people find themselves in that same boat. So community is important, but making sure it's a successful community is even more important, because you're not only setting yourself up for failure, but you're opening yourself up to be even more vulnerable possibly than if you're just on your own isolated, by being part of a dysfunctional community. So work on that, and be open and talk amongst yourself. I better get off. My wife's coming. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.